Let us begin by reading the word problem out loud. Ariana has a brand new package of chocolate chip cookies. There are 4 equally sized stacks of chocolate chip cookies in the package. How many chocolate chip cookies are in each stack if there are 32 cookies in the package? So let us begin our strategy for problem solving by analyzing the word problem given. So first thing we want to do is identify what it is exactly that we're being asked to find. In this case, the question is, how many chocolate chip cookies are in each stack? So that's what we want to find. That's what we want to determine. So now that we know what it is exactly that we're looking for, we can actually go ahead and assign a variable to represent our unknown quantity. So let us go ahead and do so. So we'll go ahead and use the variable x for this problem, and again, any variable will do. So we're going to go ahead and let x represent the amount of chocolate chip cookies in each stack. So again, the question was, how many chocolate chip cookies are in each stack? So our assignment of the variable is x is going to represent the amount of chocolate chip cookies in each stack, which is, again, it's a question reworded in the form of a statement. So there we go. That is our assignment of the variable. Now let us go back to analyzing the word problem, and let's see what else we know. So what else do we know? Well, we know it's a brand new package of chocolate chip cookies, so there's no cookies missing. It's a fresh new package, just opened. And we know that there are 4 equally sized stacks of chocolate chip cookies in the package. So let's go ahead and do so. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and just draw 4 stacks of chocolate chip cookies. So suppose this is 1 stack. And there's a bunch of cookies stacked up together. We don't know exactly how many. And we're going to have 4 of these. Equally sized, so they're all the same height. Now my pictures may not be drawn to scale, but again, this is just a rough sketch of what's happening. And then these are all just a bunch of chocolate chip cookies stacked on top of each other. So there we go. 4 equally sized stacks of chocolate chip cookies. And what else do we know? Well, we know that there are 32 cookies in the package. So there's these 4 stacks, and we know that combined in total, there are a total of 32 cookies. So any thoughts on how many should be on each stack if there's 4 stacks that are equally sized and a total of 32 cookies? Some of you may already be thinking of the correct solution. If you got 8, then you're correct. But now let's go ahead and create an equation using this idea. So I'm going to go ahead and give a general outline of what the equation should look like. So this is what it should look like. It should have the following form. So it should be the number of stacks times the number of cookies per stack is going to equal the total number of cookies. So now let's go ahead and color code everything. Now the number of stacks. So we know that there's 4 stacks, and we color coded that in red. So let's go ahead and color code this in red as well. So there we go. The number of stacks is color coded in red. And now the number of cookies per stack. This is what we're actually looking for. We don't know what this value is, but we do know it's represented by the color green, which is represented by our variable x. So we'll go ahead and color code that in green. And then lastly, the total number of cookies. We know that to be 32, which we represented using the color blue. So again, the number of stacks of cookies multiplied by the number of cookies per stack is going to give us the total number of cookies. So let's go ahead and fill in numerically what we know. So the number of stacks. We know that there are 4 stacks of cookies. And the number of cookies per stack, that's what we want to find out. We don't actually know that value, but we do know it's represented by a variable x. And lastly, the total number of cookies that was given to us, and that is 32. So that's going to be our equation. So let us go ahead and solve the equation. Again, when solving the equation, the first thing you want to start off with is the original equation found in step 3. So we'll start off with 4x is equal to 32. And now since we want to solve it, we want to get the variable x completely by itself. Right now it is on the left-hand side, but it is not by itself since it is being multiplied by 4. So we have 4 times x on the left. We want to undo the multiplication of 4. The only way to undo multiplication is by the inverse operation, which is going to be division. So we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 4 in order to eliminate that multiplication of 4. So again, start off with the original equation. Then we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 4. So now we're going to have a 4 divided by a 4. It's going to be equal to a 1. So it's going to be 1 times x on the left, but that's just the same thing as x by itself. And on the right hand side we have 32 divided by 4. That ends up being 8. So there we go. So now let us go ahead and state the conclusion clearly. Well, the question was how many chocolate chip cookies are in each stack. So our conclusion is going to be stated as the following. There are 8 cookies in each stack. So that's going to be our conclusion. And again, the conclusion is simply the question that was asked, reword in the form of a statement. So now let us go ahead and check our result. When checking the result, we start off with the original equation found in step 3. So we're going to have 4 times x, and then which is represented in green, is equal to 32. So on the left-hand side, we're going to substitute in what we know x is equal to be, and that's going to be 8. And then everything else remains exactly the same. So now all that's left to do is 4 times 8. We know that to be equal to 32. So on the left we have 32, and on the right we have 32. The question is, are these two sides equal? And the answer is yes. Since they are equal, our solution is correct.